What's up and welcome to the Cinepax podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Casey. Today we're sitting down with Adrian Per. How's it going, man?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me.
For sure. Yeah. So you've been on the podcast before. I don't even think it was the Cinepax podcast. That was like my early podcast, probably back in like, let's say 2018 you probably came on. That was a while ago.
It was
like
Wolf Talk.
Yeah, it was Wolf Talk. Yeah. So I rebranded as the Cinepax podcast. It just made more sense. And then, yeah, so Cinepax, a lot more people are going to be able to hear it. We got construction going on in the background. It's a little crazy. We're at the new Cinepax studio. So, yeah.
Which, by the way, looks insane.
Yeah, I just gave them the tour. So, yeah, it's hopefully you come through and shoot something. But, yeah, what have you been up to? I mean, from Instagram, you've definitely been working on a lot and doing a lot of crazy stuff. So,
man, honestly, it comes in waves, right? I've been... Since the pandemic, like I've had to adapt to the smaller sets again. And I was working with a lot, I guess, bigger clients doing smaller sets because, you just COVID rules, you had to have like 12 people or less.
yeah.
And then it kind of started opening back up again. And I had this goal. I had a few goals of artists that I want to work with and I was able to do it. And I felt the need to reinvent it again just because I got comfortable. So I took up photography again, which is what I initially started with before directing.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a lot of photography right now, actually.
That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still running the production company, doing post-production, doing regular productions, but my focus right now is ironically just not directing as much.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so the photography I definitely saw, was it you kind of were doing some behind the scenes photos I saw you working with Lil Nas X throughout the pandemic in the beginning of there. Were you doing like behind the scenes photos for, what music video was that? The
Industry Baby.
Industry Baby, yeah.
Yeah. So how I got that was through Columbia. Shout out John Vince, shout out Saul. Those guys are amazing. They put me on, they linked me up with Lil Nas X. John actually did initially. Shout out to him too. He was just on Forbes 30 under 30. I did a few behind the scenes productions for them. And then we actually just built this bond. And I ended up doing a lot of things with him and his crew other than directing the music videos, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Like the album commercials and whatnot. Yeah.
So that relationship grew from just being on set and doing the behind the scenes, or?
Well, actually, so during COVID, we, Genius?
Yeah.
They have the, I forgot what it's called, where they explain like the lyrics of
what's
the
that
video.
called? I know.
Verified. There you go. So I've been working with Columbia Records doing, just what they would call premium video content. And I was doing some stuff with Genius I was doing some stuff with a Columbia artist that needed the Genius press still. And Genius was still doing their interviews on Zooms. But Columbia does it differently. They're like, I don't care what we going through right now. We still gonna have our artists look 100. We're going to give them the yellow backdrop. We're going to give them a real production. So Columbia hit me up saying, yo, we need you to recreate this for Genius because we're not about to have our top artists do some janky Zoom interview.
For sure, yeah.
And I don't know if Nas was the first one. I forgot who it was. It might have been like 24K Golden or Lil T. Oh, I think it was actually Polo G.
Okay.
And I kept doing those for Columbia for Genius, and then I finally got linked up with Nas.
Yeah.
And from there, the work relationship took off. So it went from like the Genius stuff to them liking my work because I do video and photo. Started doing behind the scenes, capturing videos, photos, and then it turned into, I would have never known. It just
for sure
exploded from there.
Yeah. You directed a music. I know you did like a similar music video, kind of like green screen type for him.
The acapella video.
Yeah, acapella video.
Call Me by Your Name.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I haven't really thought about this because everything was just happening so fast and in the moment. I think it was just being at the right place at the right time, having the right skill set.
Yeah.
And most importantly, just more than talent and all that, because I feel like that's the base level of everything.
Yeah.
Just being a good person.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Not being
someone people like to work with.
Yeah, not being this overly mysterious director with a bunch of mystique, which, you know, a lot of directors are guilty of, man. Like they try to play too cool, or they want to be the center of attention, the focus. Like, no, bro, like we're doing music videos. I get it. You want to get off your cinematography, your storyline or whatever. But at the end of the day, we're still delivering a product to a client the way they want it. So I think understanding with whether it be with Nas or Polo or any, you know, these bigger acts that I've worked with, I pay attention to what their needs are, what their vision is. And I feel like I'm an extension of their vision. I'm almost like a vessel to bring it to life. Yeah. Like coaching them through it as a director versus this is my idea. Yeah. I'm trying to get my art off through you. Yeah. It's not that in the music industry. If you want to do that and create short films, commercials, specs, direct a movie, feature, whatever, but this industry is not for that.
So I remember seeing all your early stuff, like running around with the GH4, super run and gun. Yeah. And then working with, you know, just different artists. But what's really the big difference of working with these artists who are signed to like labels, like, you know, like Columbia, like you're saying, like, and you're saying you have to like, obviously like take their ideas and like really like bring them to life through yourself. Like, what is like the main difference? You get what I'm trying to say? Yeah. Yeah.
The only difference between me doing the run and gun videos with, you know, smaller budgets, different various levels of artists, you know, different success levels is the money, the budget, and not money as in what I get paid, but how much are we playing with and how many people are we dealing with on set? Other than that, the way I approach directing, whether it be just a run and gun budget music video or a multiple day, huge production set video, I approach it with the same mindset. Just what extra tools do we have? What other people do we have to talk to and pass through? And, you know, I have producers to do the talking for me. Because as a director, whether it's small or big, like it is my job to direct the artist to get through the scene. Yeah. And, you know, I didn't quite know what that was back in 2019. Yeah. 2021 even. Or no, I already knew it back in 2021. But yeah, I was figuring that out. I thought it was all going to change. It's not. And you need to keep that same energy, or at least I kept that same energy, whether it was back in 2014. You know, my focus is on being attentive to the artists that I'm creating with, because it's a collaborative effort. You know, I notice a lot of directors, like I said earlier, they will get too in their head about what they want to create as a director and almost forget that this music video is a product to serve the artist's song. Yeah. And, you know, it's a fine line of how much of your own creativity you could put on it and how much the label or artist gives you. But ultimately, it really is just the money. Yeah. You know, and can we shoot on large format, or are we using a mirrorless camera? Yeah. Are we renting HMIs, or are we getting, you know, smaller LEDs?
For sure. Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I think what I was wondering specifically as well is like, do you feel like at this higher level, do you feel like it's harder to get your creative ideas out? Like, do you feel like you're set with more limitations, like with like working with the labels, or the artists have more specific visions, or is it really just depend on the project?
It's a project to project basis. So for example, somebody like Lil Nas X, he knows exactly what he wants. Yeah. He knows from the front to back. And when he calls on his directors for whether it be he likes their vibe or their look, they will bring that to life for him. Now, I've worked with rappers where, you know, directors send in like 20 different concepts. Yeah. The artist and the label look over it. They pick one. It's the artist's. It's not necessarily the artist's vision, but they see a treatment that they like. It's kind of like pitching them a song that's already written. Yeah. You know, the songwriter makes it up. The producers make it up. It's their expression already. And the artist kind of just puts their twist on it, and they trust you with that. to bring that the treatment that they saw to life.
Nice.
It's always different.
For sure. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, no, I think that's definitely some pretty good insight. And it's interesting what you were saying about just as far as the way sets changed in 2020, just with the pandemic and everything, and then going to back to like the bare bones, because I mean, especially, So do you feel like, have you been getting back on bigger sets lately, like with more people and whatnot, or are you sticking to that like more bare bone type set again? As like,
with me, I really like both. I don't prefer one or the other. There's some directors and production companies that are like, oh, we're going to stick with this budget range because we need all the toys all the time. Mm-hmm. If I like a song enough, whether the artist has enough budget or not, I mean, obviously a reasonable amount for us to do, some cool things, I'll take it. I don't see myself preferring bigger sets all the time because there's more headaches, more people, more money, more things, there's more things that can happen wrong. Versus, if you run and gun with just a camera, you just go based off of vibe.
For sure.
I think both are cool.
So was the video you just did for E40, I forgot who the other two artists were on it. There was the OGZ, E40, and
D3.
Yeah, D3.
D3 season, OGZ, and E40.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So was that more of a run and gun type thing? Obviously, it definitely looked a lot higher production than just a run and gun video. But I mean, it's definitely not a giant set as well.
Actually, I think we had a set of about probably 18 to 20 people.
Okay,
maybe a little.
Solid. I mean, definitely that overhead lighting rig that you have was pretty legit. That was at Soundwave.
That was at.
It looked like that Soundwave.
It was in Antioch. Oh, actually, yeah, that was at Soundwave where we did the turf dancing.
Yeah, the turf dancing.
Yeah, we had like trusses and whatnot.
Yeah,
holding up like a huge. I think it was a 12 by grid overhead off all the turf dancers.
Yeah, no, the lighting looked fire there.
So what I really like is making the run and gun videos look cinematic. Yeah, making them look produced but effortless at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's a style actually I got from I seen on the East Coast. Like Nabil or a lot of the AUG stuff. The whole ASAP mob.
Yeah.
Because we were doing that here on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Like back in 2012, 2013, like the one takes, the 5D full frame music videos. And then they took it to another level where it looked like they took your typical $2,500 video, but added like $30,000 worth of production because they got the right DP, the right colorist, they got an AC to make sure the focus is pulled. They shoot on like a full frame camera, large format. And I saw that. I was like, man, I want to do that over here because, a lot of stuff over here, like the run and gun videos, you throw it on a gimbal and that's it.
Yeah.
And they're popping. I'm not throwing shade at it. I just wanted our run and gun looking video to look more produced.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can definitely see that through your work, especially just in all the Bay videos that you've done.
Thank you.
The what's it called? I love the FPV shots too of the Bay Bridge. Is that the first FPV Bay Bridge in a music video?
Yeah, that was.
I feel like it might be
the first one in a music video. Yeah, I've seen like the Gymkhana video.
Oh yeah. Did they have FPV in that?
They didn't, but they had the sickest drone footage of him drifting and doing donuts on the Bay Bridge, and it was like angles.
Was that the old one from like
2012 or so, or 2010?
Yeah.
I remember that video. And so YG had texted me. He goes like, "What up?" I was like, "Oh shit." Like, why are you texting me? You know what I mean? He's like, "I need a sick video in the Bay. It's got to be the hardest shit you've ever shot in the Bay." I'm like, okay. Like, that sounds like a reasonable task.
Yeah.
So I was just looking at videos in the Bay that were popular for inspiration. The Gymkhana video is something that I've been a fan of for a long time.
Yeah, that video's sick.
And obviously we didn't have money to get permits or shut it down. I was like, how do we make it as viral or as cool as these shots? And I've been using FPV drones in some music videos recently. It looks sick. It looks like a airplane flying through.
No, I think it adds. I was talking to I don't know if you know him, Trevor Potter. He works at he was a director of Run and Gun, and then he works at No Jumper now. So he does
that's
all that
sick.
content there. Yeah,
Props to him.
Yeah,
That's
he's
dope.
super dope. So, but we were talking last night because we were saying if FPV's played out yet.
Is it?
No, we don't think. We said we
Nah,
decided no.
It's still such a treat.
It's coming on the. It's on the rise.
Yeah, I still don't think it hasn't gotten to the Ronin level of played out because I still think people are doing it wrong.
Yeah.
I still think, I mean, the same way people are using the gimbal improperly. Actually, I take it back. There's not a right or wrong way to do your art, guys.
Yeah.
It's just there's a more tasteful way to do things. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
for sure.
Cinematics and the movement, just everything being calculated and choreographed properly.
Using the tool for a specific job and a specific reason. Whereas like if you just like slap a gimbal on and then that's like your answer for everything, you know, like tripods work great. Like
exactly.
That's usually what I said.
Works
like,
great.
Yeah. Like literally I think I would definitely buy a tripod before you buy a gimbal and shoot handheld before anything. There's a lot of other things, but yeah, the FPV though, it's wild. We did that FPV pack for Cinepax. I don't know if you saw it. We did like just
that's sick.
Cliche like LA shots. Then you could buy the pack if you.
That's dope.
If you want them, they've already been used. What's his name? Mikey Rares used them a bunch.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, it's
That's
cool. Yeah,
innovative.
it's fun. We had a guy go out and shoot. We shot. We can't say his name because some of the shots might not be. You know, you're allowed to film there, but yeah. But the Bay Bridge shot, that shit was fire. Did you actually? I forgot. Did you actually get the car? I'm pretty sure I saw the shot that the car driving across the Bay Bridge on the FPV.
Those were all choreographed.
Yeah.
We all were on a
wild.
call. Speaking of, you're not going to say the person's name because you're not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
I actually got hit up and I forgot what news channel it was. Oh, no. It went baby viral on Twitter and ended up getting like tens of thousands, actually I think probably over 100,000 or so like plays. And then a really popular Bay Area Twitter reposted it. They didn't tag me or anything. They're just like, okay, look at these sick Bay Bridge shots.
Yeah.
A news station actually reached out to me and was saying, this is dope. Can we use it? Can we feature it? And I was like, honestly, nah, because I remember what happened to those guys that did the music video on 580 and the director and all those guys got arrested. I mean, they're fine, but it's like, you know what? I'm not trying to have anybody show up
for sure
to my house, my parents' house, track me down and be like, hey, sir, this was actually really dangerous. You're paying a fine. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that even happened to, what's his name? Casey Neistat. You ever hear about that? Because he would he would just fly drones through New York City. And he'd like, do the active track and he'd just ride his like boosted board. Yeah. And then eventually like the FFA or FAA or which one is that? It's FAA.
FAA. The FFA is the Future Farmers of America, I'm pretty sure. But the FAA came and he got in a lot of trouble. Like he pretty much had to like make it he couldn't even use like drone shots on his YouTube videos anymore. Because he got so many, like he was like the big DJI sponsor, like all this, and then like all these kids are watching it. So like, they want to do that too. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to inspire anybody to do the crazy lawless things that we've done for sure. Yeah. I mean, there was even those one guys, you ever see that? They like climbed to the top of the Golden Gate Bridge and they're doing like backflips. That's insane. Yeah, that was wild. You could actually die. Yeah, for sure. You could actually die up there. But yeah, I mean, I think back to the point though, talking about like the Bay Area videos and like kind of switching them up and like not doing the cliche gimbal and all that. Like, I think it's interesting about your work, just switching it up and putting a new spin, because other people have done shots driving on the Bay Bridge, and it's just redoing those angles, coming up with different creative ways and like taking inspiration from other popular work that you've seen, like you were saying, like you checked out the Gymkhana video and like other things like that. I think that's what just really pushes the envelope and like creates better art, And that's why I was saying, in one of these rooms, like if you had like a green screen cube, it might be worth it, because I mean we haven't done anything like that at the video wall is that thing's gonna be pretty nuts. We're trying to get Unreal Engine artists to like build, like we've already been working on it. We're trying to figure out the camera tracker and everything, so like we can actually track the camera for the camera movement, so like the background parallaxes with everything, and then you get that light wrapping around your subject. So should be sick.
Yeah, no,
we're trying to be like a budget, because we went to one stage out here, the guys who shot The Mandalorian, and they've all worked on it, and like we're at their stage, and I think it was like the cheapest was like $80,000 a day to rent.
Good Lord.
It was insane, but like it was wild. Like you felt like you were outside. It was so bright. Like it was wrapped around you. They had a panel on top, so if you pulled a car in, you would get the reflections of the top down. Like, you know, if you did like,
you see, and that's why I like Cinepacks. You've created the barrier for entry for aspiring kids to be able to get affordable filters and just digital assets, and even the spaces that you guys rent out. I think that's really good for the film community. It just does nothing but push the envelope for these kids who don't have huge budgets, because we didn't have that.
Yeah,
you know
for sure.
I mean? Like we had to literally like gather pennies like from budgets and take not even just pay cuts, but we would take like negatives and put our own money into productions.
Yeah,
and you guys are creating a space where it's like, you know what, it's a reasonable price. It's not going to be too hard to convince an artist to be like, you know, spend like $300 more. Let's get a few hours over here.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what we did with our first space. Is it includes so much for one price. So you get a video wall, which is like endless possibilities. Like what's the name of that company that does like those bikes, the like electric bikes? What's it? Super 73? Yeah, so they did a commercial at our space, and it's crazy. They had this, the production company was sick. I'll show the behind the scenes clip. But it was wild. Like they had all these like kids, and they were like Power Rangers, and they like used our set. But like what I'm trying to say is like you can do so much with even that square video wall. Like even if you actually show the space, like with the reflection on the floor. And then we just have like, we have like 2 neon LED type sets, like, you know, like the whatever type sets. And then we have like a hacker room. We have a vintage. I don't know if you've been to that one.
I haven't been to it, but I've seen a bunch of photos. Yeah. It looks so dope.
Yeah. Man. So there's a lot of, that's what we want to do, is like a lot of bang for your buck. And then like going back to what you said, like not having the resources. So we ran a contest back in 2020. I don't know if you saw this, with Sue Generous. And we shot a pretty decent budget. We self-funded it. We shot a music video for ourselves. For this artist, and he didn't have the song, he didn't have the video released for it. So we shot a music video. We had Steadicam, we had grips, gaffers, we had like AC, we had everyone, right? We self-funded it, rented all these locations throughout the day. Then we cut the footage up, and then we uploaded it online, and then we allowed people to like create their own music video, their own edit, and we had like really broad rules. They could do whatever they want.
I actually remember that.
Yeah. So then, and like everyone was mad about the outcome who won. But like the people who actually understood it, like it was just to have like high production footage out there for like young editors to see what it's like, you know, like editing Steadicam takes, like editing, like, you know, just all these different shots that we got, you know what I mean?
Because I think just giving the resources and having the barrier of entry a little lower. And, you know, there's a lot of purists out there of cinematography and filmmaking and whatnot that are just like, yo, leave them out of it. But you know what? There is a lot of good talent coming up, but at the same time, like there's not that many things that impress me from, you know, the 21 and under range right now. And I think, you know, giving the younger generation like good footage like that, where it's not just run and gun with a mirrorless or, you know, some random put together Ronin shots.
For sure.
It gives them a look that they wouldn't have otherwise. Yeah.
And that's what we want to do. We just wanted to give people, you know, because I remember when I first started, like I wasn't even shooting anything. Yeah. And I was looking for stuff like that. Like I found a few editing contests back in the day, but like that's all I wanted. I was just like, I just want to download, you know, like I found it really interesting looking at this other type of footage, you know, that was like professionally shot, you know, like I didn't know anything about lighting. You can just learn so much just like seeing. Yeah. So it was cool. I mean, it was definitely a cool contest to do. And like, it was interesting to see all the submissions. So, I mean, we plan on doing another one, but we're going to try and switch it up a little bit, but come up with something with it. But
I think that's super interesting because there's so much talent out there that don't have the footage to showcase what they really got. Like, for example, my business partner, Chaz, we were in Lumpy Watermelon. a lot of those videos that I found him on were shot on DSLRs.
Yeah.
You know, it was just a handful of like Sage Gemini videos that looked dope, but still mostly at the end of the day, they're like $300 edits.
Yeah.
These handheld running gun videos in the Bay. And that's what I was kind of doing at the time too. And then we finally made the level up, and I knew from the jump though, like from his rhythm with the edits and whatnot, it's just every minute detail that goes into editing, he had it.
Yeah.
It's just the footage wasn't quite there yet.
Yeah.
And now he's getting the looks from New Balance, Nike, you know, some of the biggest artists out there. And the only difference was he stayed the same as an editor. Generally, it's just it went from Nike to like from a homie's brand that was creating some clothes.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just like the budget that Nike has is night and day.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, no, I mean, that's what we want to do, is just put some footage out there, and like people can still download it. And it was crazy though. We literally went through like 1,200 submissions, but I watched every single one of them. And they were like all like 90 seconds long, and it was just the same music video over and over again. And then like Andy started at the top, I started at the bottom, and we just met in the middle. So it was a long day. Sick of that song, but yeah, it was cool. Yeah, it was fun.
That's dope, man.
Yeah. So what's up? So you said you were more into photography right now. So like, what kind of, are you doing it for work mainly, or like, are you trying to take like photography gigs, or what kind of jobs are you specifically doing with the photography?
Let me think about that.
Yeah.
So my main focus right now with photography is actually this passion project that I started. I've never done a passion project before. Everything that I've done has been commissioned to this point.
Yeah.
I've actually severely lacked fulfilling like my own complete own visions and bring them to life, just because I'm comfortable doing commission work. You know, even though I'm bringing another artist and creative's vision to life, I get to collaborate and bring my flavor to the table.
For sure.
But this is the first time I'm actually doing something with no client, nobody telling me how to do it, nobody else's budget, just mine out my own pocket. And so obviously I'm Asian, I'm Filipino, and I just don't really like what's been going on or happening to the Asian community, you know, in New York, in the Bay, LA, just people getting stabbed, you know, people getting robbed just because, you know, we supposedly the entire country of Asia is to blame for COVID, which I mean, I could get why people can paint it that way. And if you don't do your research, it is what it is. You know, I don't want to say I'm not mad about it, but I'm not about to play victim either. So I saw a couple movies actually. Started with Shang-Chi, and you know, I watch movies all the time, but Shang-Chi, I love Marvel. It was an Asian superhero, and that was super dope. Yeah. And they weren't Filipino, but I just thought like, wow, okay, that's what it feels like to see an Asian superhero. That's dope. On an American mainstream big screen production. Yeah. That isn't Rush Hour. And then I saw the new Spider-Man. Yeah. And have you seen it? Yeah, I saw it. Yeah. So there's a scene in there, like a 2.5, 3 minute scene with this Filipino grandma, and the culture was fully intact. Yeah. It wasn't tampered with. They spoke Tagalog, which is like the heritage or the native language of, there's different dialects, but that's the one that I know at least. And they didn't try to whitewash it, or they didn't try to make them be super stereotypical Asian cookie cutter where everybody eats fried rice and noodles. Like, and that's, you know, I know a lot of Filipinos that are in the acting circuit, and they play a bunch of different Asians. Like, it doesn't really matter what you are, like a Korean person playing Chinese playing Japanese. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. But for a damn fact, you're not going to have, you know, a British person play somebody from like Poland. People know, you know what I mean? So I took that into account, and I wanted to photograph the different Asian cultures, the similarities and the differences, and shoot them cinematically in photographs. Yeah. And start to normalize what these faces look like, what their stories are, how they're different. And I don't want to wait for Hollywood to continue pushing this out. I think it's up to these smaller projects like mine to continue to push what we look like. I feel like the door is slightly creaked open for Asian American creators to really show who we are, and to have big Hollywood be like, you know what, let's start separating Chinese culture from Japanese, from Thai, from all that. And actually, I just seen this A24 film that represented Chinese culture pretty accurately.
It's the new one that just came out.
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Yeah, I want to see that.
It was shot beautifully.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I heard it's pretty wild.
It's wild.
Yeah,
that's for sure. But even down to the production design, it was accurate. There's that movie Turning Red.
I haven't seen that one yet.
That one's a really cute movie. Yeah. She turned into this little adolescent girl, and she turns into a red panda. It's hilarious. Yeah. But I think Asians are in a good spot in the mainstream media right now in terms of shifting, the needle, like kind of turning the table. Like, no, we're not just people who eat dog or bats. And, cook our cats. Like that narrative is so played out, bro. Like, nah, we listen to Pac and Biggie. Yeah. We also listen to NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. Yeah. We also listen to Taylor Swift. Like we like dressing up in Abercrombie. We also like dressing up in Foot Locker gear. We also like Jordans. Like we also like Nike. It's just, I'm tired of being pushed to being either hella Asian or like whitewashing us, because that's typically what Hollywood does. And, if you grow up in a place that isn't a melting pot of culture, it isn't necessarily your fault that this is what you think about the continent of people I'm from. It's just what the media pushes out to you. Yeah. So what entertainment says is what Asian people are. We brought this fucking virus over and now your life sucks. So with photography, I'm doing this project for AAPI month, which is Asian American Pacific Islander month in May. And I casted a bunch of people, worked with a small team. I photographed them in their home, in their jobs. Some of them are home cooks. Some of them are world-renowned chefs. Some people are graphic designers, fashion designers, stylists, makeup artists, everything. Yeah. And just photographing their faces, their stories, like adversity, why it should matter. And I think I don't want to claim that I'm Asian or Filipino when it's convenient for me. Like I rep it on my arms. Clearly it's tatted on me. And yeah, that's kind of where my heart's at right now. I'm still going to be working with brands like Adidas or video games and higher profile clients. That's always going to be a thing. I'm going to run my production company, but I think just where we're at, where I know there's crime everywhere, and I don't want to be playing the victim necessarily, but it's hard not to hear the cry of my people when I see like the 67-year-old Filipino grandma who gets stabbed like 40 times for what reason? For what? You know what I mean? Like other than just pure hatred. And I know it happens to every race, but it as a director, as a visual creative and artist, it's our job to make people feel something with something that we create, right? That's what art is. And if I can make somebody feel like this Asian person or this story I could relate to, or it's just like them, or it touches you in a way where you could be more kind to us. Yeah. That's my goal.
Where are you gonna put this project at? Where are you going to post this?
It's I haven't talked about it yet. I haven't even dropped the name. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna say it here first publicly. Sure. The name of the project is called We Are Golden. And it's a play off of something I've been saying, you know, just because like as a quick snapbacky reply, you know, people be like, y'all are yellow, which I get our skin tone's yellow.
Yeah.
But my bougie ass, I love gold. You know what I mean? I wear gold everywhere on me. I say like, nah, bro, like we golden. Like we gold. We got skin of gold. So I created this blanket title called We Are Golden. And it's going to be a series of products. I wanted to make it accessible. And actually, one of my homies asked me recently, what's the most surprising thing about doing art for yourself and a passion project? It costs a lot. It costs so much money to do it properly.
For sure.
Especially if your standards are high and this is what you're used to working with. I wasn't about to do anything mid or mediocre.
Yeah.
So all of this is just to just shine a light on just Asian Americans, Pacific Islanders, Asians in general. It's a coffee table book that has all of the photos and stories. I'll show it to you after.
Yeah. That sounds sick.
It's a coffee table book, and I feel like there's a lack of good mainstream products for Asian Americans. I mean, there was Chinatown Market for a while, but it was like ran by a couple of white dudes.
Yeah.
So they called it Market, and like their reason behind it was like even worse when they tried to defend themselves. And I'm not gonna lie, I think the brand was sick.
Yeah.
Then I found out it was.
Are they still around or no? I don't even know.
It's called Market.
No. Oh, it's called Market now. Yeah.
I mean, nothing against them. Like I think they built a great brand.
Yeah.
But I think when they got roasted for it. See, I don't believe in cancel culture, first of all.
Yeah.
Let people learn. I mean, unless you're like, you do something terrible.
Yeah.
Like, we all know what those things are.
Yeah.
Yo, you can get stoned. You know what I mean? But, you know, there's not that many cool products out there that's made by Asian American people that isn't just for Asian American people. There's less than a handful. And I wanted to create something that is like museum level quality, something that feels like it's shot on, by an A24 cinematographer, but in photo form. And it's gonna come with the t-shirt, hats, an incense, a tote bag, just like little things. And and the products, it's secondary to the message. Mm-hmm. Because I'm trying to deliver a message of normalization, and these are our stories. Listen to us, and it has nothing to do with playing victim. It's just like, bro, like we normal, we just like you. Yeah. And at some point, doing more of these is eventually getting to a point where you don't see color, you don't see a sexual orientation. You just a cool person. Yeah. Right. You don't have to like somebody too. Like you could either be a person somebody fucks with or you don't. Yeah. But it's because you actually don't like them, not because of their physical attributes. Mm-hmm. And that's fair. Yeah. I think for anybody to judge somebody because it's a dude dressing up like what a girl would like, and to just completely not fuck with them at that point is like, bro, like, come on, bro. Like, it's fucking 2022. Yeah. Like, we gonna continue making this world shitty? Like, nah, we not about that. Yeah, so all the products it's pushing the message, but hopefully I break even. That I have no financial goal, but I'm selling it to hopefully break even. That would be nice, or getting close to breaking even. And
I think with a passion behind it as well, is like, what's the great thing about passion products is that you're actually like, you're also like, it's not even just like you said, like it's not about like making the money or making any type of profit. It's really just about getting that message out there. And I think just also being fulfilled. Like, it's interesting. I was surprised when you said you haven't done a passion project before, which is pretty crazy. So definitely it's gonna, just not with your work quality, it's gonna be, I can imagine it's gonna be pretty sick.
Yeah. I think it's sick. Yeah. Hopefully the world feels as passionate about this message that I'm trying to get across as well. And I'm announcing that for the first time on May 1st. Dope. Yeah. Sick. The beginning of AAPI month. And I'm actually hosting my first art gallery.
Very cool.
Yeah, out in LA on Melrose, like near Melrose in Fairfax.
Okay.
Pretty iconic.
Yeah, for sure.
Actually, it's going to be at LA Art Box. Shout out to them for hosting it.
Cool.
Yeah, I've never done an art gallery before, and it's going to be the photos of everybody, the stories of everybody that I've had a chance to photograph. And yeah, just share the love, man.
Yeah, sick. Very cool. Awesome. Yeah, usually around this time I ask if you want to plug anything, but I feel like, is there anything else you want to plug? That was actually the only plug. I mean, it goes hand in hand what I'm focused with on photography, but yeah.
I don't know. Is there anything you wanted to ask? Filmmaker wise that you feel like that would help the film community? The film community, yeah. No, I think that was probably the last thing I wanted to get to. So, I mean, one thing that I've heard you speak about, I've seen it on your Instagram, you're on another podcast, and I think you kind of drove it in. If people haven't listened to that original one, I mean, what advice do you really have for anyone? Because I feel like everyone wants to level up and move forward, especially and just make it out of that run and gun stage, or just level up their production, because they see people. Why is my phone on? They see people all the way where you are, and they're like, I can never get there. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like such a far leap to make it all the way there. But that's a multi-tier answered question. So it's a few things. Yeah. Talent is the base level of everything. Everybody has talent. It's subjective. If you're dedicated to perfecting your craft, you're going to get to where you need to be. As long as you're better than the person you were yesterday, and as an artist, you're going to be fine. You'll eventually get discovered. The next facet of that is, more than talent by itself, is people want to work with somebody who's enjoyable to work with. There's too many directors, creatives, and just artists who are too ego driven, and they, when you work with clients, like I said earlier, you're delivering a product that is a collaboration between the artist, the label, and you as a creative, as whether it's a director or a photographer. And your ego has to take a back seat almost. You're a vessel to get this artist's vision out to the best it could possibly be. And there's a lot of times where editors might get offended with the revisions that you want to have made on the cut. You might be offended as a director because you and the editor sat through working at this thing for hours just to get like a day or two's worth of work back. Just to
Scrapped,
meet.
Yep.
Yeah,
I've been there.
I'm not saying to allow yourself to get stepped on, but have an open mind. Every single person on that team is trying to make the best product possible. And on top of that, you're not paying for it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And people bring up this know your worth thing. I get it. Get paid if you're, good at what you do. I get it. But at the end of the day, you don't set what your price is. The market does. Mm-hmm. And that's what art is. Whether you're buying a Basquiat painting, a Van Gogh, a Banksy, whatever these huge, great artists are, they never said, this is my price tag. Mm-hmm. Sotheby's did. You know what I mean? These huge art collecting auctions do. Yeah. It's the same thing. If you want to level up, treat yourself as so. Mm-hmm. Create purely because you want to create the best product, whether that be for yourself or collaborating with a musician. You need to really stop thinking like they're coming to me as a director or photographer, so they have to take my vision completely. Yeah. I've even found myself saying, if you wanted me to direct this, why are you telling me exactly how you want this thing to be done? Mm-hmm. It isn't that. They like my talent. They like they like the pretty images that I can produce. Yeah. And I'm merely a vessel. Mm-hmm. And until you're doing that completely on your own, whether it be a passion project, your own self-funded film or production, understand that you are creating something that's a collaborative effort, and you really can't be coming with this ego and getting your feelings hurt, because the entertainment industry isn't a profession for you if you're easily offended, if you're sensitive. And I think that's something that I'm starting to learn that people are pushing back on. Because while I do think you should know your worth, you shouldn't allow yourself to get walked over. You shouldn't. But understand, if you're working with Nike, if you're working with NASCAR, if you're working with a PGA Tour, they have a brand. You are not that brand.
No.
You are merely an extension of their brand.
Yeah.
So put that ego aside, take a back seat. Just be happy that you're creating. Just be happy you got food on your plate, a roof over your head. And if you need a job, and if you need money to pay bills, because obviously at the end of the day, that needs to get done. There's nothing wrong with getting a job. A lot of people don't know that I was driving Uber. I was working at a candy store while creating some dope music videos. I needed to pay for things. There's nothing wrong with having a job. Like the 9-to-5 shaming, that need to stop, bro. Like, it's not cool. Is that a train?
Yeah, there's a train around here. We're right.
That was a really cool note.
Yeah, it was sick. But the crazy thing is, we're right next to the airport, and you don't hear the planes.
I haven't heard.
Yeah, there's no planes, which is wild. So
yeah, it's like right people on are just and Sherman Way, I think.
Yeah,
almost. Or Van Owen. It's on.
Yeah,
Van
we're
Owen.
literally the airport's right there. But yeah, I saw the building. What's it called? While landing I flew in from the Bay, and I saw our building. It's pretty sick. Yeah, it's crazy. We want to paint something on the roof.
Oh, that'd be fire. Take a picture of it. Great marketing.
Yeah. But back to it.
Yeah, that 9-to-5 shaming is got to go. It's not cool. You know, everybody has to pay for gas, pay for bills, pay for their kids, pay for rent. Like every single bill, bro. Like there's nothing wrong with creating art and having a job.
Yeah.
So if you are going to step away from a stable paying job and create art solely to fund your life, and you're not getting paid enough, don't complain. You chose this.
Yeah.
Don't cry in the bed you made for yourself.
Yep.
Like, honest, and labels, agencies, clients, they can feel it. They can feel when it's not 100% passion driven. They can tell when you have a hidden agenda other than just creating the best product. Yeah. They can tell when you're stressed off of, I need to pay my bills, or pressing them for an extra few $100s. Yeah. It's not about that, bro. Yeah. Just purely create the best possible product. Yeah.
I like that. No, I think that's good. I think that's a good, I like the point of, especially just like 9-to-5, like working that. Cause I mean, before I went full time with music videos, like I was definitely like, I worked at In-N-Out for a while, and I was grinding on that, and I was just using that to stack up as much money as possible. And then eventually I made the switch to music videos full time, and it was definitely scary. Like I just one day just jumped into it, but yeah,
that's dope, man.
It's crazy. Yeah, thanks, man.
It's not easy, you know.
No, it's not.
Any version of the arts is cutthroat, you know, and whether it be a fashion designer, creative director, graphic designer, all of it, bro. Like, understand, like, you don't set your price. Ultimately, the market does. What Nike wants to pay for you, what Adidas wants to pay for you, what Gap wants to pay, what they see is what you're worth. That's what it is. Understand? Know your worth, but you can know your worth somewhere else doing other things, so that you're not stressed into creating, and you could create freely by having a job. And you know what, if you like sleep and enjoy your sleep, I respect it. But if you got to do both and lose some sleep, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. And you know, I'm tired of the full freelance slander, and I'm tired of the 9-to-5 slander, bro. They both cool. Bro, just honestly, at the end of the day, just respect each other. Be kind. Everybody has their own lane, their own pocket. You ain't got to be a hater. And when you a hater and you creating some art, people know. And yeah, man, basically at the end of the day, just take that take your ego and shove it up your fucking ass.
I think the whole ego thing is one thing I see with a lot of directors all the time. And it's just where they don't want to take any constructive criticism, whether it's like within the edit or in the idea of the video, and they have it their way and they want to have it that way. And like you said, it's not their, you know what I mean? It's not for them, it's for the artist. And I think that's like the biggest takeaway from that, is just that, like, yes, it has their name on it and it has their seal, you know, like this is directed by so-and-so, but I also think it's for the artist at the same time. And
People got to understand, if you're working with, whether it be a high profile client or somebody that's just coming up, bro, you're serving the artist's product.
Yeah.
And there's different ways where you can inject your look into it, but understand you got to take like a back seat. And that's how I feel like I've climbed the ranks in this industry. Like, I understand my place.
Yeah.
Whether you're an A&R, a huge A&R, a huge music producer, you know, somebody that works at a label who does marketing, somebody who does video commissioning, whether you're the stylist, the makeup artist, the hair person, the DP, the director, production company, we're all working towards one product. And if anybody's ego gets in the way, it's going to be a terrible experience.
Yeah.
Like if you fighting over why this one specific thing that you did should be highlighted more, people ain't gonna want to work with you. You got to understand your role. It really is a team, you know. Like, why do you think the Golden State Warriors worked out for so long? Draymond don't care about putting up points. He knows his role, man. He gonna do it the best he possibly can. And I see myself as just another limb to a body that's trying to run a marathon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great point, because, like I said, I see that so often, especially just all the time, or even just content that people put out, like literally the exact opposite, like know your worth, and like very like aggressive about it, and like about like have like all that slander about like artists like trying to be in the creative part of the video or things like that, just like pushing back and fighting on that, which I've seen. So
yeah, and you know, there are good points about know your worth, and you know, don't get fucked over.
No.
But if it does happen, just understand the space that you're putting yourself in. Be able to read the room. Don't engage in something that you could potentially, you know, if it doesn't feel right from the beginning, like, we're not dealing like, here's the thing, we're not dealing with anything physically harmful other than you just not doing art, you know what I mean? Like, it's not the same as going out as a woman and like putting yourself in these scenarios that you can't change. Like, that is actually physically difficult, and they can die. When you sit in a Zoom meeting or a text message and you feel sketched out, you 1,000,000% are not in danger. So stop treating it and crying out loud like like it's the same thing, bro. Like, disengage. Say respectfully, I can't do this project.
yeah.
Something about this doesn't feel right. If 99% of the things feel okay, but there's this 1% that doesn't feel okay with you, step away from it. There's nothing wrong with that. If you need to pay your bills, there's so many places hiring, and I get it, bro. Like, you might not want to work this job, but it has everything to do with your ego again. Like, nobody is judging you for having to pay your bills. And if somebody is judging you, fuck them.
Yeah.
They're a shitty person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid. Cool. Yeah. Is there any, I think that's a solid way to wrap. Is there anything else you want to plug, or?
I think just create from the heart, man. I think I've learned a lot of things from when I started to where I am now. And I think the most important part is being passionate about what you're working on. And that's it.
Yeah. Sounds good. Cool. Well, yeah. Thanks for listening, guys. If you guys want to leave a review, drop it on Apple Podcasts. And yeah, I'm Tyler. It's Adrian. We'll catch you guys next time.
Peace out, y'all.